Sabrina, I need you to leave my house right now. I've already signed the divorce papers, so sign your column and never show your face to me again.
What? Are you okay? Why would we get divorced? I'm not signing anything.
Oh, just shut up. If the king of the house tells you to do something, then you do it. I don't want to hear any excuses. Just sign the paper and leave my house.
Well, at least tell me why you're saying all of this all of a sudden.
I was just told that I'm becoming second in place to CEO of my company, which means that I'll have the money and power that I've always wanted. I can have any woman I wish to in the world, so why would I keep a dumb and clumsy wife like you?
What? You're getting promoted?
Yes, the current CEO called me into his office and told me himself. Apparently, he really liked my success in the projects that I've managed a while ago, and now I finally earned the position that I deserve.
That's amazing. You've been working extra hard recently. You deserve it. I'm proud to be your wife.
Not for long. Could you pack up your things and leave already? If you're so proud of me, then why don't you also feel that I deserve someone better than you? I've worked hard for so long to earn this position, but all of you done is stay home and do some housework and enjoy life. I need someone who can help me become a better version of myself, and you're clearly not the person.
How could you say that to me? I've done everything around the house all this time, so you could focus on your work. And I'm the one who took care of your parents when you weren't there for them. I was the one that was by their side until the very last breath. We supported each other in our own ways and got this far.
Seriously? Do you think you deserve to say that you've worked as hard as me? Anyone could do what you did. What I did for my company is uncommon. That's how I climbed my way through the pyramid of capitalism and came this far. Your existence is irrelevant to my career.
What?
I've seen people like you before. They think they're all that because their husbands are prestigious members of society. But in reality, they have nothing to be proud of, because they've done nothing. They're the type of people that I hate the most in this world. Now, could you please just sign the goddamn paper? My time is valuable, unlike yours.
Tom, could we please just calm down and talk for a second? I'm not going to accept this and to sign papers and leave you alone.
I don't care whether you accept this or not. This is reality, and if I tell you get out of my house, then you get out.
Hey, Mom. I heard from Dad that you two are getting divorced. He just straight up told you to leave the house, didn't he? Isn't he unbelievable? He said that he doesn't need me anymore because he's getting promoted, even though I've worked so hard to support him all this time. Do you really think that you deserve to say that? Come on. We all know that he'd replace you at some point. All you were to him was a maid, and he wants a wife, not a maid. Seriously? Well, I guess this is goodbye then, Mom. It was great knowing you, but make sure not to bother Dad anymore. He's too busy for you. Tori, do you agree with this whole thing? That your father and I should get a divorce? This isn't a joke, honey. Of course I agree. And no, I'm not coming with you. I'm gonna stay with Dad and live the celebrity life, like I've always wanted. So stop making it hard for all of us and just leave already. I'm your mother. No, I agree with Dad. You're just someone who could have been replaced by a maid as soon as we wanted to. Unlike Dad, there's nothing to respect about you, and I think it's valid that you got kicked out. I mean, even your own daughter doesn't even want to stay with you, so that says a lot about the person that you are. That's no way to speak to your mother. You and your father have always been condescending towards me, but I believe that there was still something special between us. Well then, could you tell me what there is to respect about the person that you are? All you do is stay at home and do the same chores over and over again, every single day. I'd rather die than live the same boring life as you. As a matter of fact, you're basically just a maid who lives in our house. Wow. You know, all I've done is try to provide for the two of you with an environment that you could thrive in. I woke up earlier and went to sleep later than everyone else. I used every single minute that I had for the two of you. Do you really think that that's something that anyone could do? I deserve the same amount of appreciation that I have for the two of you. Isn't it common sense for a maid to work hard for their master? Dad provides you with all of your living expenses, so you pay him back in labor. It makes total sense to me. Why should you be respected for doing something that obviously is your job? I cleaned the house spotlessly because of your father's dust allergies. Do you know how difficult it is to get every speck of dust in the house? I handmade all of your meals and snacks because of your egg, milk, and flour and shrimp allergies. I even took care of your father's parents until they passed away. Can you really say that it's obviously my job to do all that? Of course. If anything, that's the bare minimum. Oh, really? If you really feel that way, then I guess there's nothing I can do to change your mind. I didn't know years of hard work and care could be disregarded so easily like this. I guess this is goodbye then. Yep. Well then, it was great knowing you, Mom. Thanks for all the work that you did for us until now. You won't have to worry about me and Dad. I'm sure we'll find someone who's a much better fit for our job compared to you. I'll be having the time of my life with Dad and my new mom. Don't even think about coming back to beg for your place in our house, okay? Mom! I need you to come over to the hospital right now. Dad got into an accident. He's seriously injured and unconscious. An accident? Yes, I just got a call from the hospital a while ago. It seems like he got into a car accident. Apparently he tried to drive himself home after drinking at a dinner party, but he ended up driving into a pole and got carried away by an ambulance. He's losing blood quickly and needs a blood donation. But his blood type is AB negative and they don't have enough at the hospital, so they need a family member who's the same blood type to come over as soon as possible. Yes, I'm the same blood type as him. I'm surprised you remembered. Dad's life is in serious danger right now. You need to come right now. I'm heading to the hospital now too, so I'll meet you there. I'm sorry to tell you, honey, but I can't go to the hospital. What? Why not? Dad might die if you don't come right now. You told me not to show my face to the two of you ever again. What? That's what you said to me when I and your father got divorced. You should call his new wife as soon as possible. Her husband is in serious danger right now. Are you serious? We don't have time for this nonsense right now, and he doesn't have a new wife. Oh, really? I thought he was going to find someone much better than me as soon as we got divorced. I mean, who wouldn't want to get married to him, right? There isn't anyone who fits the criteria. There was one lady who was pretty and graduated from a great school, but like every other girl, she ran away because it was too difficult to manage taking care of me and Dad. None of them have the grit to be worthy of being Dad's wife. Oh my, well, that's a shame. Look, we can talk about this later. Just come to the hospital already. We need to get you here now. If Dad dies right now, my life is over. We need to save him no matter what. Of course you won't be able to live your luxurious life if he dies, right? If you lose him, you won't be able to live a whole day. Well, then come over to the hospital. The only way to save him at this point is for you to come over and donate some blood. If you're my mother, if you're Dad's wife, then come over. I'm sorry. There must be a misunderstanding. All I am is your maid, aren't I? What? I see that this is an emergency, but I'm not your mother, and I'm not your father's wife. I'm just someone who used to be your maid. Therefore, I have no intention of coming over to save your father's life. What? Do you think this is time to be playing these games right now? Person's life is literally in your hands. If you were in my shoes, would you scramble over to the hospital to save your father? What do you mean? Would you be rushing over to the person who threw you away after telling you that you were useless and nothing special to them? Even my own daughter treated me like a maid and told me to leave. It's been a year, but my anger hasn't disappeared, honey. Why do my feelings never matter to the two of you? Why do I have to bottle up my anger and come save the two of you after you threw me away like that? Wait, you're that angry about us kicking you out of the house? Is that even a question? Why wouldn't I be? Anyone in their right mind would be furious for ages after what you two did to me. But Dad is still in a dangerous condition because of the accident. And even though you two are divorced, that doesn't change the fact that you were married until a year ago. You're not coming to save him after everything you've been through? The past doesn't mean anything. We've been divorced for a year, and that makes us strangers. I do feel bad for him getting into an accident, but there's no responsibility or obligation that requires me to save him. Mom, you're not thinking straight. I get that the two of you have your differences, but he'll die if you don't come and help him right now. You two never came to help me when I needed it the most. Why are you trying to make it seem like I'm the one in the wrong here? Well, look, I'm done talking to you. After being thrown away by my daughter and husband, I've survived for the past year with no one to rely on, all on my own. I've work after this today, so I'll be going now.
Sabrina, you heartless little... I heard from Tori that you declined her request to give me a blood transplant.
Hi! Looks like you're all better now since you're able to text me like this. Congratulations! See, you didn't even need the blood transplant from me since you're alive now.
Don't you dare congratulate me, letting me die because we're a divorced couple. Are you insane? I won't forget this incident, and I will get back at you for this. If you want to be forgiven, then come over to the hospital and apologize right now, and take care of me while I'm hospitalized.
What?
I'm alive, but my whole body hurts. I need help, doing everything. But I can't ask the nurse to stay by my side for the whole remainder of my stay at the hospital. So I need you to come over and take care of me. If you do a good job, then I'll forget that the blood transplant incident even happened.
I don't want your forgiveness, so I'll be kindly declining your request.
What?
I mean, if you need someone to take care of you so badly, then why don't you call Tori over and make her do everything for you? Your adorable little daughter would do anything to protect you, wouldn't she?
Of course I already called her over to take care of me. I'm only asking you because she's not showing up. Isn't that common sense?
What? Even your daughter abandoned you.
She's heartless. She has been able to live the luxurious life that she's always wanted in the past year, all because of me. But what does she do at the moment I get fired from my job? She abandons me.
You got fired? After working so hard to get that promotion?
It's all because of my stupid boss. That hard-headed old man can't accept that people make mistakes. He found out that my accident was caused by drunk driving. After that, he called me and told me over the phone that I'm fired no matter what the excuse.
Oh, I mean, I get where he's coming from. He probably assumed that you weren't fit to take charge of an entire company if your morals are so unestablished. Regardless, if the media finds out about all this, that your company did nothing about it, it would affect the whole company's reputation.
Whatever. I don't care about that stupid company anyways. This is me we're talking about here. I'm sure that I'll have tons of offers to choose from in a few weeks. And in order to start off my new career strong, I need to heal as quickly as possible. So come take care of me! I won't be able to give my top performance with a body like this.
And why on earth would I go? If you need someone obedient enough to take care of you, then why don't you just hire a maid?
It's not a good time for me to be spending that unnecessary money. Even though we're divorced, it's your job to take care of your ex-husband if he's in dire need of it. You know, I might even consider getting back together with you, depending on how well you perform on this occasion.
You can stop with that nonsense already. Who would ever want to get remarried to you? I have a wedding to attend after this anyways.
What? Who's getting married?
I'm getting married. With the person that I've been dating. After the wedding, we'll be turning in our wedding certificate.
What? You're joking, right? We've just split. What do you mean you're getting married already?
What do you mean we've just split? It's been a year since we got divorced. Right after we got divorced, my friends introduced me to a bunch of men because they all believe that I deserve someone better than you.
Really?
Yes. Ever since we've been dating, I've been telling him about how I was treated. That you and Tori would treat me like a maid no matter how much I cared for the two of you. So all my friends knew how trashy of a husband you were. That's why right after we got divorced, my friends all got together and tried to introduce me to better men than you.
What? And you're getting married to one of those men?
Yes, I ended up meeting someone who cared for me and loves me like no one ever else has. And he's never once looked down on me like you did. And he thanks me for every single thing that I do for him. He's someone who treats me as an equal and I love him.
But... so you're not coming over to take care of me?
Of course not. I have a new family that I plan to give my everything to. This is goodbye. I have a wedding to go host, so I need to go. Mom! I heard from Dad. You got remarried, right? Yes, I'm enjoying my new life with my new family. That's not fair. How come you get to have a nice family? I heard that your new husband is a lawyer. He's one of the top lawyers in the state, right? Wow, where did you get all that information? I have my sources. Anyway, I have a suggestion to make. Would you like me to come live with you again? I'll make sure to treat your new husband well. What? You have your father to take care of. Why would you want to live with me? Besides, what makes you change your mind about me not deserving to live with the two of you? There's nothing between me and Dad anymore. I can't handle him anymore. He's so annoying. What do you mean? I thought you loved him. Yeah, I loved him when he was his respectable self. Now all he does is text me 24/7 with a bunch of requests. Like, I need you to come over and give me a massage. My back hurts. Or, the food here is absolutely horrible. Make some dinner and bring it over to the hospital. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be nice to an injured person, but he's so demanding and annoying and I can't take it anymore. Wow, I guess that part of him hasn't changed a bit. And did you know that Dad got fired from his job? How can he be so entitled when he doesn't even work? And I haven't told him yet, but the doctors have told me that he might be stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. What? Really? Apparently he would be able to walk again with the right rehabilitation, but the doctor said that the patient himself needs to take a strong initiative on the matter, and that Dad doesn't seem like the type to be able to stick with the program. If Dad doesn't learn how to walk again, then I'm the one who has to take care of him for the rest of his life, right? I can't waste my life under a rock taking care of my crippled dad, so I need to run away and become your daughter. It's doable, isn't it? What? Aren't you glad you're going to be able to live with your beloved daughter again? I'll be the best child you could ever wish for, and I'll do everything that you need me to do. And I'll get along super well with my new dad. So can you please live with me again? Sorry, but I don't have a daughter anymore, so I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? I've never had a daughter since the day that I got divorced a year ago. I don't have a beloved daughter, and I have no idea what you're talking about. Therefore, no, I don't want to live with a stranger like you. Are you serious? Did you really just say that to your own daughter? No matter whether you got divorced from Dad or live apart from me for a year, I'm still your daughter. Don't tell me that you don't know what I'm talking about. You should stop changing your stance every time you're placed at a disadvantage. When me and your father were about to get divorced, you never tried to stop it from happening. You teamed up with your father and kicked me out of the house together. Do you even know how many days I spent caring for the two of you just to get laughed at? Not once have I forgotten about what the two of you did to me. Well, I mean, I can explain. I don't need an explanation. You showed how much you really cared for me a year ago, and that's the only explanation that I need. Never living with the two of you ever again. Mom, just listen. Be quiet. It's my turn to tell the two of you. Don't ever show your faces to me again. I don't need the two of you in my life anymore. After that incident, I heard that Tom started treating the nurses like his maids and verbally harassed them, leading to him getting kicked out of the hospital earlier than planned. On top of that, contrary to his hope, he never received offerings from companies. And Tom is now begging his old boss to hire him again. But the only answer he gets is that he's good at working but has no morals, and that he is not fit to manage others who are going to follow in his footsteps. My previous daughter, Tori, is now taking care of her father, who's now stuck in a wheelchair for life. No matter how much she helps her father, she never receives appreciation, and is even getting harassed for no reason, because her father is stressed from not getting a job. Hi, Rachel. Do you have a second? Your brother and I have something to tell you. Hey, Katie, of course. What is it? Mark and I are having a baby. I'm 3 months pregnant now. What? Oh my gosh, congratulations. We better throw a baby shower soon then. Oh, we're fine, thank you. I'm sure we'd be better off planning and celebrating for ourselves than leaving it to you. I'm sorry, what? I didn't reach out to you just to let you know that I was pregnant. I actually had a very important favor to ask of you. Once the baby in my belly is born, I'd like to ask you to never show yourself in front of us again. I need to make sure that our child doesn't grow up seeing you as a role model. Are you serious? So you're suggesting that we stop being family? Yes! I'm never going to get to see the two of you or the baby. Exactly. I'm sorry, it's been very difficult being around a high school graduate lowlife myself. And it's even more out of the question to be forcing my own child to be around one. So I'll be maintaining a good distance with you from now on. Wow, just wow. And before you even ask, yes, Mark 100% agrees with this. You know, I would even go as far as to say that he was the one who came up with the whole idea in the first place. that we should distance ourselves from you since you're a high school graduate. I'm glad that the two of us have felt the same way about this matter. You two have always treated me like this. You know that I wanted to go to college too. I had no choice but to start work because that's what our family needed. The company that your parents were running went out of business, right? I've heard that you were all struggling to get by for a while. Our parents were able to find different jobs after that and worked for years. That's the only reason why Mark was able to go to college, unlike me. Are you still going to make fun of me while knowing all of that? I mean, I do feel bad for you, but then again, a high school graduate is a high school graduate, and that's that. Society won't take into account why your educational background is the way it is. Seriously. Through my educated eyes, you people are all the same. And it hurts my eyes when I have to watch you uneducated people make all of these excuses as to why you were unable to get a proper education. It really brings out your lack of dignity. Why is it that the worse the educational background, the more excuses people have? I would never make an excuse if I was in your shoes. So what you're trying to say is, regardless of what I say, the words that come out of my mouth are still those of a high school graduate, so you don't care. Whatever, I get what you're trying to tell me. If that's what you want, then I won't show myself in front of the two of you ever again after your child is born. I was scared that you wouldn't understand me, so I'm glad you do. I'll be headed then. Goodbye!
Rachel, guess what? I now live in an apartment in the middle of the city inside a skyscraper. I'm officially on top of the world.
Oh, wow, that's great. Did you two decide to move in preparation to welcome the child?
Yeah, I read that the location at which you live significantly affects the child's educational outcome. I mean, you can see that it's true from me and Katie. We both grew up in the city, and now we're both graduates from prestigious universities, and work at mega companies. I'm sure our child is going to turn out as bright as the two of us, so we better make sure their environment doesn't drag them down.
I agree. I think it's important for a parent to prioritize education. I've also read that the location the child grows up greatly affects their drive towards achieving well in school.
Exactly! I mean, it's common sense that if you live with idiots, then you'll become one yourself. And in order to avoid that from happening, Kitty and I are raising our child in the best and brightest environment that we could provide.
That's great. Your apartment must really be amazing.
Yeah, it's the type of place that someone with an educational background like you could only dream of. I've heard rumors of celebrities living there, and apparently, it even houses CEOs and managers from all kinds of big companies. That's why the school that's built nearby is one of the best in the state.
Wow, the rent must really be expensive.
Yeah, the room itself is also really luxurious too. It's pretty spacious and has a great view. Sorry to show off like this, but I'm sure you can live somewhere like this if you can go ahead and graduate from college. It probably isn't too late. In fact, I'll invite you over so you can take a look.
You're inviting me over. I thought you hated people who aren't graduated from a nice college. Why would you invite me to your house?
As you've heard from Katie, you'll never see her or me again once our child is born. So I thought it would be nice to have a chance to say our last goodbye. And also, you'll probably never get the chance again. So I thought it would be a kind act to let you come over. I'll even let you take pictures to hang on your wall once you go home.
You know what? I'd love to go. I'm genuinely curious to see what type of luxurious place you'll be living in, so thank you for inviting me.
Of course! As the French once said, noblesse oblige. Let us nobles be empathetic for the poor. You know, Katie and I's total annual income has just exceeded $200,000. It sounds like a dream even to me. I'll show you a view that you'll never be able to forget.
Hello, Rachel. Thank you for coming over today. I always thought that the poor people never had the time or mental space to be wasting their time. But I guess I was wrong. Thank you for making time for us in your busy schedule. Do you never get bored of making fun of me? And you have something to say to me before anything else, don't you? What the hell was that? Why would you throw coins at me when I was leaving? I mean, you brought some gifts with you as congratulations for moving in, didn't you? Well, I was raised to always give back for anything given. We're never seeing each other again, so I thought it would be a good idea to give back to you right there on the spot. Give back. Do you consider throwing coins at me as giving back to me? Oh my, do you not? I thought that the cheap-looking flowers in the vase that you brought today were worth a few dollars. If I'm giving back something of the same value, then I thought a few coins would fit for that. How could you say that? You know, I've always expected you to be poor, but I never expected you to be this poor. I mean, who brings that kind of obviously cheap thing as a gift for others? Those flowers that you gave me made me sure of my theory. People who aren't educated properly have no choice but to become poor. I'd like to thank you for making me reassure myself that I'll never make my children become like you. I chose my present myself, just for the two of you. I heard that you two were moving into a nice apartment, so I thought some flowers in a nice vase would bring the whole interior together. That vase is an artwork that was made by a famous potter. I won't tell you the price because it's a gift, but it's a very nice gift and you should appreciate it. Whatever. You don't have to try so hard to make yourself seem like something that you're not. Through the educated eyes of my husband and I, we can obviously tell that this vase isn't worth anything more than a few dollars. Did you get it at Dollar Tree? Wait, let me guess. You just made it yourself so that you wouldn't have to spend money, didn't you? Seriously. However you got it, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm sorry, but my husband and I have already thrown away the flowers and the vase that you bought today. I see that you chose it yourself. But it just emits some sort of poor, malicious energy that we couldn't take. There was no other choice. I'm sorry. How rude of you. All I wanted to do was congratulate you on beginning a new chapter, and this is what you do in return? I've already gotten used to you making fun of my educational background, but this is just purely heartless of you. I can't take this anymore. Well, then it's great timing, isn't it? We're never going to see each other again, so you can hate us all you want. You'll never have to see us again, and we'll never have to see you either. I mean, I hope so, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have to see you again. What are you talking about? There's no way we're ever wasting another minute talking to you. We're officially strangers now, which means that you'll never be stepping foot in our house either. What a bummer. I'm glad that you at least got to see what a nice house meant for educated and rich people looks like. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I own this building. What? It's true that a lot of people who live here have great educational backgrounds, but it's not like I made that a rule as the owner. I don't care about where you came from as long as you're able to pay the rent. And I don't appreciate how you feel entitled enough to make the rules around here when I literally make them myself. I get that you're mad, but making obvious lies doesn't help your situation, honey. Whether you believe it or not, I own this building, and that's all there is to it. The room that you showed to me as if you owned the whole world, that room is mine, and you're paying me to live in it. If you don't believe me, come on over to the top floor. You'll see the whole floor is my house. The whole top floor? You two looked so dumb when you were telling me that I'd never live in such a nice place. Every cent that you spend to live here comes to me, for God's sake. Are you kidding? How is that possible? In what world would a high school graduate own a building like this? You're lying to feel better about yourself, aren't you? You can even look at the papers that you signed to finalize the moving in process. You'll see that the room is under my name. Really? I don't care what you want to believe, but if you're going to keep trying to believe that I'm lying, then take a look at it and then bother me. I'll be going then. I'm still furious at the two of you. The coins that you threw at me will be going to donation, by the way.
Rachel, answer the phone right now. How on earth did you end up owning a building like this? This is impossible.
Looks like you finally took a proper look at the papers. How did you not notice anything when you were signing them, for God's sakes?
Even if they had the same name as you, I never thought it would be you. I just thought you had the same name as the owner by coincidence. I mean, who would think that it's their high school graduate sister that owns this place? You're supposed to be a poor lowlife.
Yes, I would be a poor lowlife if I hadn't worked as hard as I did.
What?
No matter how much the two of you would harass me, I stayed focused on my work and brought myself to this position. After paying off our parents' debt, I earned countless certificates to qualify for all kinds of jobs. One of the many jobs that I'd experienced was caretaking. On that job, I ended up working as a caretaker for a wealthy madam who worked alone in her mansion.
At a mansion?
Yes, I got sent there by coincidence at first, but she really liked the way I did things. She ended up scouting me to work for her personally, so I left my company and worked as her personal caretaker.
What kind of fairy tale scenario is that?
I took very good care of her until she passed away years later. In the end, it turned out that she left all of her inheritance under my name.
And you're saying that this building was part of that inheritance?
Yes, this is one of the many buildings and apartments that she left behind for me.
What the hell? All you had to do was take care of some rich old lady for a few years and you got all of that? That's not supposed to happen in real life.
Well, it did, and now I'm the owner of the apartment that you live in. The madam told me that she had to struggle quite a bit when she was younger, and that she was the same as me, a high school graduate. Because of that, her marriage got cancelled and she was harassed at her workplace for years. She said I reminded her of herself.
The old lady never went to college either?
Isn't it amazing? No matter what the odds or what anyone else said to her, she still kept working towards her goals. In the end, she became the queen of real estate in this area. I mean, she was rich enough to hire a personal caretaker, so that says a lot about her wealth. I earned tons and gained a lot of inspiration in the last few years that I was by her side.
But why on earth would you hide that all from me? Not even Mom or Dad know that you have this much wealth, do they?
Of course Mom and Dad know everything about this. They were the first people that I told.
Really?
Yeah, I even suggested that they started living with me, but they said they're going to pass on the offer. That they were glad I was happy and that they want me to live my own life since they took so much away from me when I was young.
Then why didn't you tell me too?
Why did you think that I would even think about telling you? Do you not remember how many times you made fun of me for not having gone to college? I'm not bored enough to deal with you. Anyways, when are you planning to leave your apartment? I hope you're already beginning to pack your things up.
What do you mean? Why would we move out? We just moved here.
You wouldn't want to live in an apartment owned by a high school graduate, would you? I mean, solely judging by the way you and your wife persistently harassed me for years about my educational background, of course. Seems only logical that you move out to avoid paying such a person for living. Or do you plan on continuing to live in my apartment? Because if that's the case, then you probably won't be able to achieve your goal of never letting your baby see me. And besides, your pride as an elite probably couldn't handle the fact that someone below you is literally living on top of you, could you?
I don't believe this. I'm supposed to be the successful one out of the two of us. But even if it's below you, this room is still something that I worked hard to earn. And I paid tons of initial fees. I just can't move out right away. I even invited some friends to come check it out. I can't back out now.
Whatever, I don't care whether you keep living here or move out. As the owner of your room, the only thing I care about is that you pay me your rent. Well then, it's good doing business with you. Hey Rachel, I just have a quick question if you don't mind. Do you think you could give us a discount on the rent as the owner, or could you possibly move us to a higher floor for the same amount of rent? Is that even a real question? No, I won't allow either of those things. Come on, Rachel, aren't we sisters? I'm sure you could work something out for us. Please? How many personalities do you have? Do you think I'm just gonna forget about the evil stepsister that harassed me for years? I finally had an epiphany. It's just wrong and stupid to make fun of people for their educational background. You couldn't possibly measure a person's worth with such a superficial trait. I'll apologize for every single thing I've done and said that offended you, so let's start over as besties. Seriously. Yes, aren't you glad to finally have the loving little sister that you always wanted? We should go and have some tea together sometime. I'm pregnant, but I'm still doing well enough to go out on my own. If you're so bored, then why don't you just go get a proper job? I'm sure your college degree would get you a decent job. Maybe you'll finally be able to quit your part-time job. What? I hate to break it to you, but I know everything about you two. As the owner, I have the right to check your annual incomes. You two have been telling me that you're elites who work for mega companies. $200,000 a year. Why the hell would you lie about that? I know that you two only make $60,000 a year combined, and you only have a part-time job. How? Where did you find out? I found out when the two of you tried to move in. I heard that the real estate company declined the two of you because of your annual salaries, and that you two were making excuses that you'd just been fired recently, and that you'd been making $200,000 a year until last year. Mark promised that he would be promoted and would make as much as he used to right away, right? And that you'd get a proper job as soon as you could. How do you know the exact lines of our conversation? You even showed them your student IDs from college, right? Do you really think student IDs from years ago mean anything at all in the real world? How? The real estate agency contacted me right away. And I said you can move in since it's all up to me in the end. All because I cut you some slack as your older sister. Really? But what do you do in return? Try to negotiate prices and pay less. I don't think I've ever met anyone as greedy as you. If you have time to be negotiating prices with me, then why don't you find a job? As you promised, go ahead and show that you're an elite. Of course, that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. It's just that I'm pregnant right now. And I heard that Mark isn't doing too well at his workplace either. Look, I don't care about the reason why you two ended up getting fired from your previous jobs. But you better keep every single promise that you made at the office. If you even make one delayed payment, you're out. Isn't that a bit harsh? I think it's great that you two care enough about your child to move just to give them a good learning environment. But biting off more than you can chew is never a good idea. I heard the preschools around here cost tens of thousands per year, and that's just the beginning. Kids cost more and more as they get older. What? Preschools here cost that much? Did you not look up the living expenses around here before moving in? I mean, we just thought that the living in the city would be enough. Breathing the same air and seeing the same sights as smart people is important in raising a smart child, right? Living in a nice environment won't automatically make your kids smarter. Isn't that common sense? I think the two of you should have a nice, long talk about the future, compare your income with the living expenses around here, and come back to me with an answer. Because things won't always go your way just because you went to a nice university. I found out later on, but the reason that the two of them got fired from their jobs in the first place was simply because they were bad at what they did. They would go around harassing people who didn't go to nice schools like them, but wouldn't do much work either and ended up getting fired. After a conversation, the two properly compared their earnings with their expenses. Told me later that week that they would give up their dream apartment. After that, I heard that they moved into a cheaper apartment. Sometimes I receive texts from Katie asking me to support her child's educational fees, and that they want to make their kids get into the top schools in the nation. But I just send pictures of the view from my apartment in response.